Number one, they recognise that it's not really about the process, and they continually develop as a leader. Yes, process is important. It's very important, and it really matters, particularly when you have a major incident function that is either not long established or has low volumes of major incidents, meaning people don't get to practice as much. But the reality is, if you work in a major incident function that has plenty of major incidents for the teams to practice on, and you're not talking about somebody new joining the major incident team and needing to understand your process, the reality is you probably have a very good major incident process, and the work that's been done over the years to improve that has probably had a significant impact. The reality now, though, if you're in a well-established major incident function, is any improvements and any focus you put onto process, it's likely to return marginal gains. It's going to be minimal, the impact you can have. However, when major incident managers start to focus on their leadership, on their ability to be a great leader, and how they impact all the people around them, all the people they lead, all the people they serve, that really makes a difference. Major incident management is a people sport, so in order to perform at the highest possible levels, you need to master your craft. You need to master the craft of people and leading people. And I don't mean in some vague way. There are very specific and very good models for almost any leadership or people-based scenario that you'll find yourself in. And these have been developed, it's an art and a science, over decades by very intelligent minds. A lot of stuff we see now has come from clinical psychology as well. It's people who really understand people. And it's a huge reason why in our training, in the global best practice in IT major incident management, one of the largest sections of the course is leadership and people skills. We teach people to perform as leaders at the very highest levels. Like everything, it does take time though to become really good, particularly exceptional, and it's a constant element that you must be trying to upgrade and improve your skills in. So if I give you a couple of examples, the list is endless, there's a lot within it, but for example, psychometric profiling. When you really understand yourself, so the way you communicate, what stresses you, your style, of communication, and also your personality type. When you understand those things, as well as understanding other people's, being able to identify somebody's personality style, how they interpret information in the world, how they communicate, and also their stresses and motivators, and you are able to tailor the way you speak with those people, you start getting very, very different results and very different relationships that are exceptionally powerful. They become a really big asset. And that's just one element. If we think about, for example, all the numerous conflicts that you may come into contact with, not necessarily you having conflict or tension with someone else, perhaps conflict between two technical resolving group members. What we've got to remember is all of these technical experts, that's brain power. If you've got 10 of them, right, then losing one of those, you've just lost 10% of your brain power. Losing two of those who have conflict and then withdraw and don't continue to contribute, you just lost 20% of your brain power. So it's really important to think about how you, as the leader, as the major incident manager, are going to help others navigate conflict and solve this. 5 styles of conflict management, understanding your options in any given scenario and which is best applied to the particular situation you're in. So all these things, you bundle in emotional intelligence, you bundle in leadership styles, all these things really important for you to know, master and utilise. As I mentioned, the list is really long, but we must, as major incident managers, if we're going to become these high-performing major incident professionals and be at the top of the industry in terms of our performance, we must dedicate ourselves every day to leadership excellence. We must constantly be asking ourselves, am I a great leader? Is this how a great leader performs, behaves in this environment? Number 2, never stop growing and learning. So it's really easy to get comfortable, particularly when you're a very good major incident manager. But I would ask you, why would you settle for very good if you can be exceptional? And the chances are you probably have what it takes to be exceptional. If you can get very good at major incident management, chances are you probably can reach that exceptional level. Continually learning and growing and analysing yourself is a key trait of great major incident managers, and particularly those who perform at an exceptional level, the highest possible levels. The funny thing is that after seeing thousands of major incident professionals, hundreds of operations, my consensus is that those who currently believe they're probably performing at the highest levels in the industry and are exceptional typically aren't. Now, that's not to say that they're not very good or doing really good work, but there's a lot of good major incident managers out there. It's very likely you're probably somewhere in the middle. You're probably average, even if you or your company believes you're performing at the highest levels. Now, I absolutely don't say this to be derogatory or rude to anyone. I just think it's really important that we have a bit more self-awareness and we understand that actually there are so many levels to this, and when we think we're at that top level, the chances are we're probably not. What I would say is, again, most of those people who believe that they are currently exceptional, I believe they absolutely can be. And the difference between someone who's very good or even average and somebody who's exceptional is normally the continued investment in self and growing, meaning they get to a very good level of performance. They're used to hearing that they're doing very good from their colleagues, from their management. The operation is happy with their performance. And it's quite natural for all of us to get comfortable. I know what I'm doing, that's fine. And you just then deliver. The truth is, though, whether we're talking about major incident management, whether we're talking about anything, whether we're talking about sport professionals, the difference between those who are very good and those who are exceptional and world-class, the term gets used a lot, but those who are really world-class, is normally continued growth, effort and investment into self and skills. And I think when you get to this good or very good level, a lot of people just stop growing and learning. And so I absolutely think they can get there and absolutely could be that. I just think that there has to be real investment, and it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be our course, for example. It could be reading, it could be understanding the greatest leadership minds that we've ever seen. It could be continually learning your own operations, seeing what else is out there, seeing what other people are doing in their environments, in their companies. It could be this thirst for development. And that's what really separates those people. The persistence over long periods of time, this sustained effort to continually develop, from those who kind of stop at either average or good, and those who become exceptional. So what I would say about this finally is, don't settle for good or even very good. Keep going, keep pushing, keep learning until you get to exceptional. And then push a bit more. The next common trait amongst high-performing major incident professionals is the long-term view that they take, particularly in collaboration and relationships. Now, when you're running major incidents, there's absolutely elements where you need to be thinking about the here and now and the immediate. But the best major incident managers look to build and maintain relationships for the next 100 major incidents, next 1,000 major incidents. We rely on those relationships that we develop for the whole team to succeed. As I mentioned before, it's a people sport. We cannot win on our own, no matter how talented we are. They don't wait till they need something from somebody. They don't wait to deliver some bad news to someone. So what I mean by that is, they don't go to the technical resolving group members only when a major incident occurs. I need you to do this, please look at this. They don't go to their customers and stakeholders only when a major incident has occurred. This is the problem, this is what we're doing. They're thinking about the long game, about how do I build substantial relationships with these people, and doing that requires an investment of effort and time outside of live major incidents. And again, this is something that pays dividends, and yes, it takes time, but it's a real asset for both you and them. The entire operation wins when we take this kind of approach. The best major incident managers spend any spare time they possibly can building and nurturing those relationships, trying to understand all the different points of view and perspectives of these people. They also forego short-term wins. What I mean by that is there are certain situations where you want speed, and it can be easy to rely, particularly if your style is inclined to be the D for dominance, to just drive people to actions even when they don't believe it's the right course, even when you haven't given them an opportunity to speak up or discuss what they believe should be done. And the problem with that is, particularly if you're capable of doing that, it works in the short term. The problem is, if you rely on that too much, yes, you'll get some great resolution times initially. Your mean time to resolve will probably be pretty good. But over a sustained period of time, what you find is all those people stop engaging. They don't want to work with you. They don't look forward to it. It causes problems. And actually, that has a real impact on the time it takes for you and that team to resolve. Particularly as time goes by, they get less and less inclined. Even more so if you're somebody who barks quite a lot. Initially, it can be a bit of a shock to some people who aren't used to having that, and therefore initially they may comply. After a while, that just becomes, well, that person's always difficult or rude or too abrupt. And there's different levels of this. Some people do it in a slightly more professional way, but there's still no real requirement for that. If you're having to rely overly on a dominant style, chances are you're lacking quite substantially in other leadership skills that you can lean on in order to get the same result without the degradation to a relationship or even being able to build it in the first place. Number 3, positivity. Ultimately, we're dealing with the worst kinds of commercial issues with lots of stressed people, unhappy customers, yet the best major incident managers understand that their positivity and leadership is infectious and it can lift the whole team. This positivity is especially useful in these situations where no one's quite sure what to do. You feel like you've exhausted your list of actions. You're not sure where to turn next. Your technical teams are not sure what to do next. And with the right mindset and positivity, you absolutely inspire the rest of the team to bring that. The person who is quick to lose their positivity is going to be defeated by all of the numerous obstacles and barriers that come up. The person who's got this positivity mindset of we're going to be able to do this anyway doesn't really get stopped by those challenges that would normally halt others. And you'll find that is infectious. You as the leader, it's a big part of your job, is to keep the team who is working on these complex major incidents and outages, is to keep that team engaged and energetic to really fix this issue. And positivity is a huge part of that, and having a more positive mindset. Finally, number 4, continual improvement is just as important as running major incidents for your major incident function. Major incident management has kind of missed out on the attention that most other areas of IT receive when it comes to continued improvement. And perhaps because before MIM and our global best practice in IT major incident management, frameworks that existed around continual improvement were a bit too generic. And major incident management, like project management, but more of a real-time nature, has loads of quite complex dynamics in terms of the stakeholders and relationships that are involved, and so many perspectives of different people. And when we created the MIM stakeholder experience, which is our methodology for continual improvement to a major incident function, what you find is instead of one person, a manager or a process owner, doing kind of everything around the continual improvement where the rest of the operational major incident managers are just busy working in the operation, what you find is with this platform to take a unique look at all of the different stakeholders and their experience and the journey through major incidents, it becomes a lot more collaborative. And the genius behind that is that you guys are so intelligent that when you involve all of your operational teams, all of your stakeholders, even your customers, your leadership team, your management, the perspectives you get are so unique and holistic that the solutions you start creating meet all of those different needs. The improvements that you make improve the entire major incident function continually because you've involved all of these really smart people who all have these unique perspectives. You've suddenly got the buy-in of a whole new group of people to continually evolve this function, and you don't really end up with these shortages or stagnation of your major incident function. And I think I would suggest even some of the best examples of operational major incident management, which can be often seen in banking or telco, saying invest quite heavily, they'll spend the money on people who have lots of experience and skill and they're pretty strong in that area. Sometimes I think people get comfortable with the company they work for and brand, and so because they've done very well, they assume that that's it again. There's not much going in the way of innovation and not much going in the way of continual improvement, not in any really meaningful kind of way. And we work for these companies who are very powerful, very successful brands. And it's easy to get caught up in that and stop thinking that we need to evolve. And the reason these companies are so successful, have these wonderful brands, are because people have continually innovated, continually improved everything that's done. I think in IT, my observation would be the ones who were perhaps leading the way major incident management was done for many years are the ones most likely to stagnate. And so continually improving your major incident function is something that is common amongst the very best major incident managers, and they're not leaving it to somebody else. They are making time to improve the function, continually involve it. They are setting plans and goals and dates for those plans, how they're going to improve it and when that's going to happen by.